Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL TTT for World Bicycle Relief. We're out here for number 87. This has been an amazing day, actually amazing couple of weeks leading up to this and all the planning. I got myself Dave Toll, obviously Nathan Garrett, Dave Toll, but along with us, we got Claire Geiger, Director of Partnerships at World Bicycle Relief. We're super excited to have her on board to talk about all that has been accomplished in conjunction with WTRL, Zwift, and ZCL. So, Dave, I know that this is super close to your heart. You've been involved with WBR for a long time, and I think it's all kind of come full circle here. A lot of chatter before going live here, actually, between everybody about how excited we are.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Yeah, Claire's a really next level person, no doubt. And I've been lucky enough to, watch her at work, and it has been absolutely amazing. One thing, when you're World Bicycle Relief, you have an opportunity to hire the coolest people who are passion driven, and Claire's a perfect example of that. So that being said, today's event. So it's the 87th. Hard to believe WTRL is into number 87, but I want to make sure that we directly acknowledge WTRL and Martin and Stephen and what they have done. I'm not going to steal anyone's thunder about telling you what we've accomplished here. I'm going to leave that, Nathan, to you and Claire. But Nathan, also a huge thank you to you for committing your time and energy to this. So that being said, all those thank yous are great. We got an awesome bike race today. There's some interesting wrinkles. Nathan, have you ever ridden on a buffalo bike? Have you ever been? There's not many.
Only
So
in Zwift.
here's one of the.
Only in Zwift. Only in Zwift. I've ridden plenty in Zwift.
So I do want to add that it's not like these buffalo bikes are floating around and sitting in people's garages in America. Every single bike that has been bought through World Bicycle Relief has gone to serve purpose. So it's not like rich people are buying these bikes and hanging around with them at their barbecue. What happens, though, is I was at an event where they actually had real buffalo bikes. It was a World Bicycle Relief event. They wanted to let people ride them and feel it. It's under $150 for you to buy one of these bikes, as hundreds of you have, and a huge thank you in our little group. But these bicycles are built to last. These bicycles are built to change the world. I was just at a department store here. I don't think people call them department stores anymore, but at a store here in the U.S. where you can buy a bike for $150 at a store now, but that bike's not going to last but a week or two out there, especially the conditions that our the end users are up against in sub-Saharan Africa. So we can't send junk over there. And these bikes are really, really cool, but darn, they are heavy. And you got to be so when you see a 14-year-old who weighs 52 kilos riding around on this bike, she is a wattage cottage. Believe me, because my weight can barely get him going. So Claire, I just wanted to thank you for the time and allowing me to get to go on a little bit about how much I love World Bicycle Relief. But I know you're in Germany and joining us. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about, but I'm going to throw it to you and welcome you to the show.
Thanks so much, Dave, and thanks for the wonderful introduction. It's amazing to be with this group, and your support, Nathan's support for so many years. We've worked together, and Martin stepped up and said, I think we can do something really special with this group and this community, and we have just been blown away by everybody's commitment. It's amazing. Over $60,000 have been raised. We have a match going on. That means it's going to be $120,000. The impact this will make in so many lives is just huge. And you thanked me, but really it's because of all of you. I can't thank you all enough. And it's thanks to the community for stepping up. Every donation that somebody made makes a huge difference. Like you said, it's $150. So when you think about it, when a team of 10 comes together, you can easily buy a bike, and this community has just gone above and beyond.
I wanted to jump in there real quick here and just have a idea. I mean, last night you said that you were watching it go up because I was like, whoa, 50 grand. All right, let's see what we can do here when we had that initial meeting just a few weeks back. And then, up front, we got this pretty good kick, 13. And then just in this last few days, and then even last night, like overnight, because I was like, oh, wow, we're almost there. It'll probably creep its way there. We're going to hit 50. All right, great. And then all of a sudden, like overnight, we not only hit the goal, but we're like $7,000 over that and still rising. I have to say, I am actually blown away and impressed by the community as well as to how much they have come around this initiative. And it just really goes to show, like, people are dug in and committed in a lot of ways to the initiatives in the community and really giving back right now. So it's really awesome to see, Claire.
Yeah, I mean, 2 days ago, we sent that like final email, like the race is right ahead. We were at $35,000 and we really felt like, okay, can we make this final push to 50? That was the ask. Help us reach our goal that we set early on. And like you said, I mean, I was up like every hour last night, just updating that page and watching it. And then even today, I mean, we went from 35 to over 60,000 in the past like 36 hours. I mean, it's amazing. It's so exciting. I mean, it's like the same feeling you get when you're really at an event and all that. And it's amazing that we can all share this together.
Yeah, I look at the whole spectrum of people, not only in our WTRL community, but just in the cycling community. It's such a diverse group. But one thing that they all have to recognize is exactly what the Twitter handle is here: power of bicycles. Because that bicycle, Nathan, it's changed your life, changed my life. Claire, it changed yours. I've never met anyone who didn't invest in the bicycle. And now you get to take that beyond yourself. So, Claire, I think every time that you hear someone getting thanked for supporting Power or World Bicycle Relief, they go, no, it's good. I just let me do it. I don't need to be thanked. It's not about getting thanked. And I think that's really the most beautiful thing of all is everybody involved just like, don't thank me, just go buy another bike or whatever, because, just continually moving on. It's like being a cyclist yourself, right? You just keep plowing ahead. And that's what how many bikes has World Bicycle Relief been able to send over now? Is there a tally that you can?
We've distributed over 540,000 bicycles since we started in 2005. We actually distributed our 500,000th bicycle at the beginning of this year. When the pandemic hit, we really did not know what was going to happen. We didn't know if there would be demand for bicycles. We didn't know how the supply chain would be affected. I mean, we dealt with a lot of the same questions that I think a lot of people have had to deal with. But what we saw immediately was for healthcare workers that were helping prevent and contain this in the areas that we work, a bike was crucial to reach the villages, the people, to educate people about it. When they closed schools, immediately what they said is, we need to get these students back in school as soon as possible, and bikes are going to do that. So we've only seen our demand grow, and we just know that the future is so bright for that. And I think you're right. We all have experienced what a bike has done for us individually in our lives, and it's so easy to recognize what that's going to mean in somebody else's life. So it's such a tool of empowerment and an opportunity for so many of these people.
So many of us are lucky that the bicycle is something for our mental health and our physical well-being. So exercise, mental health, all of that. This transcends that in a major way when you look at, so Nathan and I have shared many discussions about this, even on air with Zwift Community Live, about things like for the bicycle that goes to that 14-year-old young woman to stay in school. Well, then she loans it to her brother, who's able to run some errands and make a little extra money for the family to maybe put something more than just beans and rice on the plate. Then mom takes it out, and she's able to maybe make even a social visit or whatever it is that they share this bike. There's accountability with the bike. And I think the point I made to Nathan the other day that I thought was super important is, we're not just dumping bikes into a community and saying, have at it, people. What we're doing, or you're doing, is putting bikes into communities and then supporting with an infrastructure. There's mechanics that are trained. There's mechanic centers that are set up. Can you talk about how many of these mechanics, and that's maybe when you talk about employment, job opportunities, and aren't a lot of these mechanics young women?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Dave, I think you make a great point there about why our work is so sustainable and scalable. And those are two important things when we think about our end term goals of how we're going to be giving out 1 million bikes a year and how can we help meet that demand. And that's because we're putting that infrastructure in place and we're training mechanics that manage the upkeep of the bikes. We have over 2,500 mechanics trained, and we continue to train mechanics as they come in. And we do have women mechanics that can lace wheels up faster than the men. And it's just fantastic to see. And we also have Buffalo shops where we sell spare parts, where we sell the bikes. So we're really creating that whole economy and infrastructure around it, which is a really important part of our work. And then again, as you mentioned before, we don't just ship old bikes and dump them over there and say good luck. We've designed the Buffalo bike that everybody's riding today specifically for those areas of the world that we work in. It's super durable, it's made out of steel, and it's long lasting, and that's where we see so much success.
Nathan, can you imagine if we sent them all of your old bikes, how useless those would be?
That'd be completely well, that's the
Like
thing is that
every
these bikes
chain is
are
worn out.
yeah, right. I mean, these bikes are very hardy. They're able to get the work done that needs to get done. I love the idea that in the same, so I mean, the comparability here is that we have a huge economy based around our transportation here, right? Like if you were to remove that, it would take a huge hit to our economy. But think about it in the opposite way that it's happening, where we're investing then into a whole new economy now growing around this mode of transportation that's being given to people's hands. I didn't even think of that part until you just brought it up, Claire, about now there's people who get to work on these bikes. There's people who get to sell the parts with these bikes. You're adding a new asset to their entire economy and the way that they live and the way that they get around and survive on a day-to-day basis in their trade that's empowering them. So that's absolutely awesome to hear, and that's the sustainability part of this. I think in a different way, where you're not just throwing resources at something that doesn't actually have a sticking point, a foundational point,
Yeah.
where you're laying groundwork for something to grow.
Yeah, it's all well and good to mean well, right, Claire? But if you don't back it up, and that's the hard work, that's the nitty gritty part of this. It's everybody wants to be sending bicycles to people who need them, but you got to make it work, and you got to, as you said, sustainability. Claire, we do this team time trial every week. It's in its 87th week now, consecutive. Martin. That's what he does. He created this, and so we. Oh, actually, Nathan, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but don't we have special bikes today? Can we quickly explain what we did with
We
what
do,
the riders
yeah.
are
There's
on?
there's a lot of riders that are on Buffalo. A few of them snuck through. It looks like with a few other bikes, but there are a lot of Buffalo bikes out there for sure right now. And there's equalization though across the bikes right now. So it's an equal playing field. All of the bikes are going to be running at the same speeds regardless. So it isn't like you're slowed down if you're riding the Buffalo bike. So
It's a skin, as
yeah,
they say, right,
it's a skin,
Nathan?
exactly. It's just skinned,
Yeah.
and across the board, they're all equalized on the day. So that's what's taking place here in game right now. Definitely, and we do have a race underway right now. I just want to highlight though real quickly, and we'll come back to Claire maybe in a little bit here, but 120,000, I believe, with the match. So we're over 60,000 right now. That's why WTRL said the moment that we hit the 100,000, the 50,000 mark, and then we have the announcement that it was being matched. Martin sent this image over, I got it in my text, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. So over 100,000, and it just keeps climbing. Let's see if we can hit 150 total. That means 75,000 total.
Okay.
By the end of the broadcast, I want people to just be going after it. I know I'm shooting for the moon there, but maybe, shooting for stars. Hopefully we hit the moon. I think we already have in some ways. We'll go a little past it and satellite it.
So, Nathan, you know how, and Claire, you get out on Zwift, World Bicycle Relief. We've had some really fun experiences. 24 hours of Zwift for WBR went on for many years. We need to bring that back, actually. So, the thing, I wish, Nathan, Claire, you get the ride on when you're out there, the big blue thumb, and you'll hear it a lot. Well, we should hear every time a bicycle is donated today. I'd love to hear a ride on, but spiritually you are, because you're right, Nathan. I think that we're going to reach even more people here today. And another important thing, Claire, is the evangelist principle. So if you're moved by WBR, which clearly Nathan, Martin, myself, we all are, tell your friends, tell people. It actually makes so everybody has that person that you just can't figure out. So that friend who's a multi-gazillionaire, a lawyer in Seattle or whatever, and they don't need AirPods, right? They don't need any of that stuff. Buy them, donate a bike for them. You'll have a great conversation point. They'll feel stoked. You'll feel stoked. It's a karma rebate for everybody. Is that not a great idea, Claire? I'm just spitballing
Yeah,
at
Dave,
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
I want to know who your friends are because I want to hang out with them too. But I mean, I think right now it's the thing, and we do have the ability to, you can make a donation and send a gift card to people as like a Christmas gift or a holiday gift. And you're right. I mean, I think so many people recognize, what else do I need? I don't need, another X, Y, or Z. Why not give the gift of mobility to somebody, and you can really share that you've changed someone's life. And I got involved with the organization about 10 years ago, and for me, I was racing triathlon, and I realized a bike costs less than my helmet, and a bike costs less than my sunglasses and my
In
shoes. And when I started
triathlon, less than an entry fee. I hate to say,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you think about all the things that we spend money on, the entries, the races, and all those things. And I just really felt like, man, I need to give back. And so I think you're right. It's such a simple way. It's a very tangible thing, and people really relate to it. So that's great. And you mentioned this before, but we really measure our impact as well. So we see, what does it mean when a girl has a bike and can access school? How does that affect her attendance? We see attendance increases through the roof. And if kids are in school longer, they're also going to have better performance too. So we see performance increasing. We see their, self-empowerment, their safety, quite frankly, because they don't have to take rides from men on motorbikes. I mean, the impact goes so far beyond just getting to school. You mentioned the family being able to use it on the weekend so parents can get goods to market. I mean, we estimate that every bike actually impacts at least 5 people. That's kind of the spread that it can reach. And so that's super important when you think about how that affects not only the family structure, but also the larger community.
Think about this too, then 5 people, right? But I can just go ahead and logarithmically change that number for you, because then that young girl who stays in school, she becomes a doctor, she starts saving lives. And then how many lives are we talking about? Again, start running those positive numbers out, people. Instead of being so negative about things all the time, think about that. We were joking about when a butterfly flaps its wings in Venezuela, but it's true. One positive action, like buying this bike, changes that one life, but like you said, more like 5, immediately 5. And then again, 10 years later, what's that number again? I just love to hear, the 10 years later number. I guess none of us have a crystal ball. But Nathan, today I don't want to step on the racing too much out here, because everybody obviously, Claire, these folks are WTRL friends. They take this seriously. There's 5,000 of them racing today, 836 teams, 11 time zones around the globe. So you see this race happening now. This is our Platinum League. There's men and there's women. We've added a whole extensive women's categories now. So it's not just women race together and then we have 4 men's categories. There's equal number of categories as well. That's real equalization in this world. So then you now have the Platinum League, which are the best 10 teams from any time zone around the world. The next week, they receive this exclusive invite into Platinum. Now, then Nathan loads them into his super duper Zwift machine there in Wisconsin. And we have racing underway. No one else can do this. And here we go. That's a team out there right now. It looks like Pita Z. And you can see the watts that they're making. Today's course is about 43. It's a long one today, Nathan. long
Yeah, it is a
distance
longer one. It
course.
is a longer one.
Yep.
We do have a guest as well today that is on a bike as well. She's about to start her race in about 4 minutes. This is from Sisu, I Race Like a Girl. I just want to double check that Amanda Wendorf can hear me. Amanda, I'm just going to give me a thumbs up before I do bring you in just for a second. Or
Well,
maybe if
Nathan,
there's no expectation for any kind of conversation, but Amanda, I just want to give a thumbs up. We'll have her live shots.
hey,
There's no expectation for communication. No worries. It'll just be the suffer cam, I think, out here today. But it's great to have Amanda on board with us as well. And a big thank you for her bringing that in. We'll be able to see Sisu, I Race Like a Girl's battle out there today because they've been going for the top spot. That's kind of been one of the conversations that's been going on here, is chasing down that WRT Sox Watts team. So, but Claire, I want to say thank you so much for jumping in with us and giving us some, background on WBR. We'll maybe bring you back in a little bit in the show if you got time. If you don't, I mean, we've given us plenty of time already. We're going to get in though. They're already into their second lap here for Sand and Sequoia's 22K in for the men. So thanks a lot, Claire. And we're just going to keep hammering away here for WBR.
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, now we're right into the racing though here. And Dave, we've got P to Z. This is their first time. And we jumped in with P to Z actually the other day, Dave, in order to highlight that this team was one of the biggest live streams on Twitch actually of Zwift. They pull a solid number of viewers to the point that they could, from what I'm seeing from them on a consistent basis, they could actually apply for partnership with Twitch. Hint, hint, over to P to Z, just so you guys know, because you do have the numbers for it. And pretty cool to see that there's a Zwift channel out there that now is at that kind of a threshold. Where the gaming world is maybe embracing, or the gamers that are a part of the Zwift world here are embracing that platform. Also coming out of
what?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Nathan, Spanish gamers. Is Spain known as a country?
That's exactly what I was going to say, was that I think it may also have to do with that there is the population, the Spanish population, Spanish speaking population, when the big streamers that speak Spanish go live, they're almost always the top channel actually. So
cool.
It's interesting to see how maybe a little bit more of embracing there as well on that side of things. But you do see they are pulling. They said that there's their first time in the Platinum League, 25-28 currently coming with here. It looks like Vision D-Pack at 26-39. It looks like as well. The last checkpoint though, I'm going to go ahead and change this up a little bit and see where things were at, as we did miss the first one. And P to Z, is that right? Let me see this here.
Well, that's very, very quick, isn't it? So these checks coming in from 20K. Today we have 10, 20, and 30-kilometer time checks. And Nathan, holy cow, way to make a debut. 25-28, the quickest time at 26-39 for Vision D-Pack, slotting in at second, and third is going to be Team TFC Typhoon. So these are their first teams to start. So again, just sort of with bated breath here, these times, well, that 25-28 is going to be very good. You can see it's significantly faster than any other team out there who's gone through the check at this point. Let's see how it does against the monster squads out here today. But
everything is really close too. I mean, the only one, On the River Blur looks like they're really struggling today with the 14:58 down there, but absolutely flying out here with P to Z. So we'll see how this ends up playing out here. Magellan now pulling on through 361 watts, 167 beats per minute currently. Solid time. Vision D-Pack, it looks like, with a 26:39. I think Payton might have went out a little bit strong though, because their time gap was a lot more than it was at this current 20K. Right. So I'm wondering if they overcooked it a little bit.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, right? To use another cooking analogy, but it is definitely, Nathan. I like the strategy. I'd rather go out hard and falter at the end. That's the true gladiator, rather than ease into it and see how it all ends up. So more power to them, even if it doesn't work out here today. And they certainly they come into the Premier League as a team that has nothing but an upside. So interesting to see more checks coming in, but no one faster, Nathan. As a matter of fact, this time looks better and better here for PETA, the Spanish teams. So you could start with as many as 8 riders in the WTRL. The time taken off of the 4th. We have a bunch of different leagues out there, Nathan, so you always have to remember, is it 3rd or 4th? Is it 6 or 8? But this is the full-on 8-rider teams. Not every team will start with 8. Most do. Highly recommend you would, especially with 42 kilometers of racing out here. There's the Polish flag showing up for VCRT, a very
Interesting to
international
see
squad.
here. It's really kind of fun to see the zip wheels hanging out on these buffalo bikes. Actually, like I'm
Yeah.
really liking that they put these zip wheels on.
Pretty counterintuitive, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it mixes the best of both worlds, in my opinion, right now. Like I'm kind of
don't know
liking
that-
a little bit of mix there.
When you go into the Buffalo shop outside of Nairobi,
It's
I
not
don't
going to
know
be
that they're
selling
going to
zip
have
wheels. No,
No.
not at all,
No.
not at all. But we still are getting a little bit of the speed and the gamification side of things, where people are looking for that little bit of extra. It seems so fun to see.
I love
fun to
it. Now,
see.
and you know what? Full license, Nathan, to having fun. That's what WTRL is all about. So again, for those joining us for the first time, might look a little bit weird, but we're having some fun today. 87th WTRL. But what we're doing is a benefit for World Bicycle Relief. You had a chance to meet Claire Geiger, the director of partnerships over at Zwift, and man, are we proud to be able to support them. So the teams all have the ability to select their bikes, and normally you'll see a lot of 858s with discs, shivs, aero roads, whatever. Certainly, there's the favorite bikes out there. The fastest, slipperiest. It's slippery is the word. Buffalo bikes aren't slippery; they're strong. And it's going to take a strong team, 25.6K into 43K of racing. Here we go, Nathan. Cryogen, one of the world's most popular teams, the Cryogen Nation in full effect. I want them in my voting block, as Dean Goodall is the rider that we're looking at here.
Yeah, and Cryogen, let's see what kind of time they're pulling off here. It does look like the goals are right up there in a 27:01, actually. So solid time coming in from them. And Vision Deepak, the only one that are better on the day. It does look like we had a little bit of a change up for P to Z there.
Yeah,
so I think there
something
may
changed.
have
There
been,
we go.
I think we in the back end there, I saw that 2 minutes almost. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's going to stick. So it does look like Martin had a little bit of a change up there for them. And a 27:20, it looks a little bit more on point for the type of rider that the Vision Deepak and Cryogen Gulls are. So maybe put a little bit of fire though under Vision here. Perhaps they got a couple extra seconds out of it.
You heard that? Yeah.
As they're pulling through at their 20, almost the 30K mark at this point on the sand and Sequoias.
That's the perfect reason, Nathan, to not listen to the broadcast while you're racing.
Just look at the
Watch it
times.
after.
Just look at. I mean, I always
watch it after. Yeah.
I'm looking at those times, chasing them down as hard as I possibly can. But definitely want to take it with a grain of salt sometimes here.
I should say, I should even just add, don't go by what the commentator Dave says would be a good rule of thumb. Other than that, you're probably okay.
So
Mistakes are made. You know, no one's perfect.
Women are just jumping out on course as well. I am in with Sisu. I Race Like a Girl, and so we'll be able to bring our guest rider in here as well in just a moment. But they were the first ones to head out in the espresso for the women. We'll jump around across categories as best we possibly can. It's a little bit of a different of a day out here today with a change up in the way that we're running things. So before, all of the weeks prior, up until this point, the men and the women had a single event that went off in the Platinum League all at the same time. Now we have separated out into two events where we have the men all in one event that went off at 12:10 Central Standard Time, and then the women went off at 12:45. So they're only 3K in Sisu I Race Like a Girl, as you can see. As we do see, is this actually going to be all WBR kits, and this is going to be Slovenia, I believe. The Slovenian Zwift team hammering away.
Well played. Nice choice. Sounds like we're going live with Amanda.
I think not at this moment. Not at this moment.
I thought I heard breathing, which would be a racer. That was that certainly wasn't Claire.
So jumping in with Slovenia here real quick. We're going to be a little while until we've got the ladies in with any kind of times yet. They have been a team to watch out for recently. Now, is this now I'm assuming this was the SLO ZL team. Maybe my assumption was off there, though. Not seeing them on the overall results right now. All in WBR kits. Let's see if we can find them out on course. Find them in some of these on the results here. But absolutely flying, obviously, as they came up on the. Who did they pass there? They came up on the Cryogen Gulls like they were standing still almost, interesting enough.
It's always challenging with the SLO, with the Slovenian or Slovakian as well, as that national anthem gets mistakenly played for the alternate nation quite frequently. So you can see now, so it's going to be, today's bananas, to tell you the truth, and everything going on around the fundraising for World Bicycle Relief and the great job that all of our
right
teams
there.
have done.
There it is. Doppio is the reason why, Dave. So
New
I just got a
categories,
reminder.
yep.
I got a reminder that Doppio was put in with the espressos and went out at the same time. So this is going to be the Slovenian. I was correct. It was the Leibach Slovenian Zwift ZL. I believe that's going to be for Zwift. Leibach team. No pins 3 are there, currently sitting in third place in the Doppio. VCRT Dogos there 13:17. Z-Sun Red Giants are 12:57, currently leading out with a crazy fast time at 26:16 there, though, at the 20K mark. It is a close race here between this team, though, and Z-Sun Red Giants. Red Giants been walking away with it a lot lately, so we'll see how this ends up playing out in the 30K mark. A lot of climbing on this course for TTT.
If you hadn't been watching WTRL for the last few weeks, you're going to notice a lot of changes as we've moved into, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, that maybe even a month ago, that we first saw the Doppio, the Vienna expansion, I guess I would call it, where we have all of the different categories for women now. So big changes, really positive changes. That speaks to the growth and what the community has been asking for. So good job, WTRL. But takes a little while to get used to those changes, too. And it won't take us too long, though. It'll be old hat within a couple of weeks. As we take a look at the times, Z-Sun R, the Red Giants, one of the strongest teams on the platform, 26:16 for those monsters. It's going to be Slozel Liebach with that 26:17, so just 1 second back, and only a handful more to the no pins R3R team. VCRT, the Doggos, sitting in fourth. So there you go, from 20K in. Looks like those are the 4 teams that we're going to get times from today.
Let me see if we can actually jump in with Matstra, who's one of the riders here on the Slovenian team. He does stream over on Twitch. There's a ton of Twitch streams actually going down currently, specifically around the WTRL TTT right now. Actually, a few of the Sisu I Race Like a Girls team members are out there as well, so it's really good to see how many people are taking this on. And we'll see if we can get in with one of the fastest teams and what kind of effort that's being put on out there. But we'll keep moving our way around, though, amongst this espresso/doppios. Again, the espressos and the doppios, they did go out in the same pen this week. A couple of them did have the same start time, so they had to separate themselves out really quickly. It does look like they were able to do that pretty quickly, so good on them for getting it organized and making that happen.
Keeping the cool heads as well. Nathan, I don't know how you knew, but you're correct. That is the Slovenian flag. I had to check. But you got it.
Well, I'm a bit, maybe a Sagan fan. I don't know. That might have something to do with this. But
right.
Also lots of people also coming out of there in the mountain bike world. Interesting enough, that early on I had to figure that one out.
Right.
So. Also, I got the flags wrong so many times early on that actually one of the main, Kevin O'Connor, one of the main supporters actually around the WBR movement, sent me a map or like a thing of all the flags to put above my streaming setup, just right there. And I literally would be saying it, and I'd be like, all right, what? Oh, that's what that is. Okay, got it. And like over and over and over again, studied it during streams. So it definitely helped out a ton.
I noticed early on in working together, commentating, that you were really good at the flags. I did not know you had a giant sheet poster.
It's not here any longer. I don't have it here any longer. But yes, early on it was definitely hammered on with me that I needed to have start getting them correct, 'cause I got them wrong so often, or I sat there and asked questions so often. So it was definitely an interesting time to get that.
All it takes is, if you have one strong rider from a country that isn't super familiar, like I was thinking Daniela Strate from Romania. I'll never forget what the Romanian flag looks like now. And I wouldn't probably know that if it weren't for her. And that's one of the beauties of this whole process of life, right? The people you get to meet. I think to World Bicycle Relief and the world part of that, because when you hear about over 500,000 Buffalo bikes have been deployed, that's a massive world effort. It really is. All of our friends in Europe have been tremendously supportive, no doubt. Claire, her husband works for SRAM. They have a factory there in Germany, and SRAM has been unbelievable in their just through and through, from the very first moment to as we speak right now, supporting World Bicycle Relief. So big thank you. Speaking of Twitch, though, Nathan, that has been a phenomenon. Another thing in the last couple of years, that athletes embracing that channel, much like yourself. Your Twitch channel is certainly active. Lots of people look forward to watching you race. It's a vicarious experience for a lot of people. Tremendous fun, though. You feel like you're hanging out with your friend in the garage while they're Zwifting. It's super cool.
Really what it's all about is the community aspect of it, and hanging out with your friends that are making it happen, and seeing what their efforts are like. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at that, actually, as we are in with Matcha. This is going to be his live stream. He is hammering away. It looks like he's got a little bit of a Christmas theme going on here, actually, around his setup here. A little bit of suffering going on. 188 beats per minute currently coming from him in his effort here. I kind of like how this was something, stream sniping is a thing. And in the upper left-hand corner, you can see that he's got his 100% CPU instead of a power-up is what is being shown there in the upper left-hand corner. So he covers it up so nobody can know what power-up that he actually has if he does have one. So, and as you can do, see Chad is hanging out there and there. And 7-year-old PC upgrade is what his current bar is for. And so I think he's looking to try and get a little bit of a potato upgrade. And that's why it says 100% CPU in the upper left-hand corner there. Liking that. Loving it.
And that's funny. That's a good question, though, Nathan. Power-ups are not available in the Team Time Trial format.
No, they're not.
Sometimes.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
they are not. We have seen them opened up once in a while, in order to, as a test. There was a test at one time to see how it would play out.
It didn't really work out. Yeah.
So that was what that was all about, was to see how it ended up playing out with everybody and whether or not it was enjoyed, and it ended up getting pulled out eventually.
There's the Buffalo bike. Good to see Z-Sun R has a few of them on the team. This is our Dopios, correct? Yes, it is. And time's coming in. 39:19. That time there, it's going to be very, very close here.
With this team right here. This is the team, too,
right.
Z-Sun.
Just waiting for Z-Sun to update. And it could be 1 second either way, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely fine. 41 kilometers per hour uphill right now. They're about to head into one of the most crucial sections of the course for sure. See how this ends up playing out as we're about to get an update here. Belangencia there saying 8 KOM on me. So he's saying he's gonna take on the KOM for the team. Cool to see from Evo there. A little bit of communication happening. There it is. Z-Sun coming behind the Slovenian team. They're hammering. The 100% CPU is playing out. The potatoes making it happen for Matsuda. Good to see. And we'll see if they can hold on to that. It is still very, very close.
When you look at that, that's going to be quite a bike race here. 43K, the total distance. So, this still could go either way. We got a battle royale from Slozel and Z-Sun R here. And you look, no pin's not that far back. That's only 12 seconds, actually. With this much to work with out here, absolutely they could win. So 3 teams in a battle royale. Now, as we get down to the business end on our very special 87th edition of the WTRL World Bicycle Relief, the funds raised on that 1-to-1 match, if you go to worldbicyclerelief.org, Actually, just if you're ever in a bad mood or feeling down, go to that website. It really uplifts your spirit. It lifts your spirits, I should say. But you can see that match is making a tremendous difference, especially with all of our teams having raised over $60,000. Incredible day here. A day we'll never forget.
This has been one of the best by far when it does come to the fundraisings we've ever done. So amazing job to the community. Shout out to them. Back in with Los Torpedoes here. Los Torpedoes having a good ride there. 40-36, a 1 second battle here between themselves and Evo Espresso. Good to see. A little ways up though, it is going to be Cryogen that they're chasing down. It does look like Z-Sun did drop a rider off, saying enough is enough. As they get into their climb, this is going to be the second climb up and over the top through the sand and sequoias now. Let's go ahead and take a look and see if we can get some course records as well. Get an idea of where things have stood in the past on
the last time we raced out here was a year ago. So what that tells you with how far we've come over the last 50 weeks of racing, I would expect. I would actually, Nathan, bet 10-1, give better than 10-1 odds that we see every single category having a new record being set. I'd be stunned if the only one maybe Socks for Watts. I don't know what edition of Socks for Watts that was.
Yeah, because in the past we have seen Socks Watts challenging their own time, so we'll have to wait and see how it ends up playing out here for 58:15.
I'm wondering if any of these times came from earlier today. From earlier zones.
I'll have to bring in the results and see. Maybe the
Probably.
one, the Frappe one, perhaps. TBR
Maybe the
Z6M1. Yeah, that would be another one that we'll have to wait and see. I can probably bring in some results actually and get an idea.
So Kirkmeyer's racing with us right now in Platinum League. So that 101 would be from a year ago. You have to think. Kirkmeyer's been a strong team for a long time.
Let's see if we can bring up some results.
Socks for Watts as well. But, Nathan, when we talk about Socks for Watts, right? But that's WRT. So because they have won about 30 now, not quite 30 is my guess. Martin would know. He's probably so busy right now getting bikes sent over to sub-Saharan Africa. But I would have to think that they're 28, 29 wins on Thursdays. So they're the one, but that's only really been over about the last 2/3 of this, the COVID era, I guess we'd call it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and see if we can bring in a few results here and get an idea. As these are results that came in from earlier in the day already today. So if we do look at the Vienna Frappe here, currently standing in first place is a 109.22. Now, these are going to be results that are going to stand until the day is over, right? Or until a new result comes in each one of these categories. So just as a heads up, these are not the final results, but we can go through and see where things stand and what people need to be competing against. In this Vienna Latte, we're seeing Sisu Bestet there at the top at a 113.55 that need to be challenged for this WTRL Team Time Trial number 87. Evo Sun's there in just the Vienna with a 121.10. And then as we head on through there's going to be nobody in the C-Pen for the women there. And then it's so far through so far, just going to qualify that. Evo Warriors currently sitting with a 57.30, it looks like. And then it's going to be the Dirt Jigglers there coming on through with the 57.53. Z-Sun Hercules there. That's going to be the Espressos. Crowdgen Kestrels there holding down a 1 hour 17 in the Frappes. And then Eat Dirt 2, a 106.12 is the time to beat right now. That's from Zone 2 in the lattes. And then the Mochas, no, that TBR was set and stands actually here, Dave. So
yeah, interesting
enough to see. These are actually almost, I think, all of them. I didn't see anything in there that was yet from
That's
today.
surprising.
Yeah,
actually.
So still a lot of good racing to come then, it looks like.
Maybe I read that wrong. Maybe we've been there more recently than a year ago. Because when you start
October
thinking about
2020, it looks like
oh,
for
that's
L and M were set in October 2020. Latte and Mocha. F were
Vienna
set
had
in
to have been too.
July. Frappe was set in July of 2019, and Espresso were set in April of 2019. Wow.
What
Wow.
about Vienna?
Tacos? No, sorry. That's what I saw. I saw something about tacos. For Vienna, it looks that's going to be. I did
October.
not see anything about the Viennas right this moment. So we'll see if we can get some more information about the Vienna.
Well, my logic is that we haven't had. Yeah, either way, I don't think that they were race. I don't know that there was Socks for Watts a year ago. So I think that it's more recent than that. But
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a
it'll be
great point.
all right. Well, back to it. Less than 10K to go now for well, down to 5. So that's where you have run out of wiggle room for the most part. I guess 4 is where you're absolutely locked down. Every rider is going to matter. That's where the time comes from. Is the 4th rider on your squad? Little bit of a discombobulation going on right now.
Yeah, and this is a great section of the course to get an idea of what this course is all about. It really is about this climb in a lot of ways, and then there's holding the speed on the flats, the Fuego flats. So as Freyer here from Innovation, Wilson, Palmer's, you do see Davies, Mills, Keeling is in here, coming out of the UK, a junior rider who's really made a career in a lot of ways of his cycling in the world of Zwift. Great to see him just hanging on at this point, though, as Freyer hammers away at the front end for this Innovation team, one of the strongest teams out in the world of Zwift TTT.
I think that's Dad, Mr. Mills Keeling, I believe.
Oh, I think you're right. You might
so.
be right there because because I think it's George Mills Keeling. So Jay Mills
Correct.
Keeling then. Good call there, Dave. And Innovation Rebels here with the 42.19 currently. It looks like trying to hold down that 8th place in the Espressos.
Imagine if your dad was that. Well, I can't, anyways. Although, but that's probably a little older to give him credit. So that's some big watts being made, though. That's rarefied air when you can 35K in, still making 4 watts per kilo. You are a fit human being. Good job out there, guys. Keep it going. This course destroying the teams out here today. I knew this one was going to be challenging. And Sand and Sequoias did not disappoint over 2 laps at 43K. This is where it really starts to hurt, especially if you're on a good ride. Because now
What's
you're even more...
with Little Bo Peep? This is interesting.
Lost his sheep, man.
Definitely lost his sheep here. This is going to be Innovation. This is going to be Barnesy hammering away. But Sheep 1 right ahead of him. Where
That's not a
are the
flock.
rest of the
One
sheep?
sheep does not a flock make. I think
They're a 2-man team out here today, is what I'm hearing. Oh my goodness! So
That's
did they showed up with just 2, and they're looking to compete. This has got to be for the WBR support. I mean, showing up with just 2 on the day, and they probably couldn't get the rest. I mean, that right on for them. That's pretty awesome to see them show up on the day.
I agree. There used to be a 2-man time trial, so it's a team time trial, a 2-man, that was end of the season event, and it was always so cool because you'd get the riders would choose who they rode with. It didn't have to be a teammate of yours, and it made for some really fun combinations of guys. I guess there's a little more of a demonstration type event, but 2 guys against 8 over 43K on Sand and Sequoias, that's a big ask, but what they're doing is working on their karma, because we appreciate them supporting World Bicycle Relief. That's for sure.
Yeah, amazing job here by them in order to show up and get the work done out here today. Jumping in with our Swinton, it looks like the OTR Blur struggling on the day a little bit. They're 43.18, so a full minute back here at this point. We'll see if they can pull anything back as they head into their final climb over the top of the Sand and Sequoias climb here. I believe they may be... Nope, they're being chased down, it looks like, by the Slovenian team. No, Slovenian team is actually looking to finish up. Excuse me, they're about to cross the line here. We'll start to see some results come on in. Cops is done for the day. So now Nato is going to be coming on through, it looks like, for the pull across the line. VCRT have been chasing them for quite a while. They might have been caught, actually, I think, by the Slovenian team. So that was going to be 2 Doppio teams now finishing up. We'll have to get an idea of where things stand between them. We'll go ahead and bring that up and get an idea of how these times were at the checkpoints. We'll start bringing in results here in just a moment for these riders here. It does look like we've got, is that going to be a TFC Typhoon? Good to
It
see
looks like
TFC
it.
at the top level, too. You know, this is a team, they started out in the C and the D category with the Friday criteria, TFC, and now Dawson leading out at 6.8 watts per kilogram. That's no C or D category level, that's for sure.
No, that's next level. Great job out here, guys. So this finish line becomes one of the most well-known. We've been out here quite a bit lately.
Yeah, this we've been out here. Well, I think it's because one of the most popular courses for racing too, especially with
Yeah.
TTTs. So
It's-
as far as TTTs goes, this actually Mayfield, when he made this, I've said it a couple of times on broadcast, but when he made this, it was specifically with TTTs in mind, or team, not team time trials,
Or
but time
trialing
trialing
at least.
in mind
Right.
specifically. And actually coming from triathlon and time trialing background, that was actually what he was training for when he made Zwift. Interesting enough.
That is interesting. In Austin, Texas. So what fascinates me too is how the team time trialing, which was in a dormant state to say the least, has been completely revitalized by the WTRL. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, this will. I talked about the ripple effects with World Bicycle Relief. This is having ripple effects as well. Different teams that are being formed, friendships being made. It's become quite a community with over 10,000 racers doing these. Today 5,000, but if you look over the last year, or Zwift Racing League, for example, almost 11,000 folks have raced in the league. So that means they've all done at least one team time trial, and every team time trial has WTRL's fingerprints all over it.
Yeah, and something that was born completely out of the WTRL organizing it, figuring out how to get the most out of a team aspect in the game of Zwift. And so the idea, Martin was saying the other day, getting everyone to sit in the pens. You have thousands and thousands of people that
the hardest
literally
part?
show up to an event and they sit in the pens until they have been given an assigned time to go with a team leader that says, now it's time to go. I mean, and they almost all get it right. It's amazing. I mean, it is an amazing amount of organization that has to go down in order to make that happen.
we can
And
do
I'm
that-
so impressed that they were able to make that happen. Without that, the TTT just doesn't happen. So,
See, that gives me hope that we're going to be able to pull off the. Sorry there, Nathan.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
So that gives me hope that we're going to be able to pull off the vaccine thing. If we can organize that start to the WTRL, I think we can do just about anything as a people.
Rasmussen here out of Denmark. Morgan, Balenciaga. This is going to be the guys they use. Remember, this was the team that gave the 1, 2, 3. I believe some of them. A lot of times they would have this Balenciaga. They don't use the Discord
Denoting
that often. I
each
think
rider.
They have some denoting.
So-
Yeah, they pull through off of
Not today.
in-game commands. It looks like.
That point was brought up by Anna Russell and Kate Bates, and I never thought about that. But the language thing, look how many of these teams would have not share one common language. You can't expect everybody to speak English or Spanish or whatever it might be. So, yeah, that is one of the techniques that was developed apparently early on. The sock color was another thing that we learned
Yeah, I thought
about,
that was a really great coming in from Wahoo Finesse. And I got some messages actually afterwards. Hashtag finesse tactics, or what was it? It was something along those lines that like people are going to be like, that's the way to do it. Whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
You change the color of your
You just
socks
cracked
so
the
you all
code.
look the same, but you use the socks.
Yep.
And they were like, you guys exposed our secret. It wasn't like it was
And it's
that big of
funny.
a deal, but
And now that's how community and insider stuff works, because now anybody who knows how this works in WTRL would know that teams do that, right? It only takes 2 weeks for that to spread entirely through the community. So now if anybody shows up and they're like, what's the deal with the socks? You're like, guess you don't know much about team time trialing on Zwift, do you? Huh? So it's sort of funny how these things that no one had thought of, or at least we hadn't thought of 2 weeks ago, will become commonplace, Nathan, within a few more weeks. I love it. That's changed. That's how quickly things happen these days.
It's going to be, which innovation team is this? Is this going to be the Rebels? I believe it is. Coming across the line. INC, perhaps. Richardson. We'll have to wait and see who just came on through. But the men are just finishing up. OTR Blur, the last team out on course. Z-Sun Red Giants across the line already as well. So this might be the Rebels, actually. It looks like there were two innovation teams. Interesting enough. Getting across the line here. So Rebels, 42-19. I think this is going to be who we're looking at right now. But there was an innovation team that just came across the line a moment ago, so we'll have to figure that one out. Let's go. We're going to see if we can jump across to a couple of other categories in the men's race as well. But let's go ahead and jump on over to the women's race, as Sisu I Race Like a Girl are just starting their second lap out here. And we can get an idea of where things are starting to stand with the Viennas, what the competition is looking like. It does look like Sisu I Race Like a Girl. Were they caught? Is that going to be right? Because I believe they were the first ones out on course. I think Cryogen are having a solid race. And the pickup here in the Wrens today, saw the post out on social media, Natalie Lawrence transferring over to Cryo RDT.
Is that right? Wow. That's a big move of a lot of watts, a power move, if you will. Here's the Cryo RDT Wrens that we're with right now. So this has traditionally been one of the most exciting races week in, week out, no doubt. You look at Sox for Watts, they, it's fair to say, Nathan, dominant, legacy. This team has been absolutely amazing when you talk about what they have done in the COVID era. But you just get the feeling the other teams are starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together, getting closer and closer. We've talked about Sisu. They're one of the teams that's certainly there. And Cryo RDT Wrens also are a squad that's going to be making some big results coming up soon. This is a 28:42 for them. That's the fastest time right now at the 20-kilometer check. 29:53, the time for Sisu Do. We're still waiting for the monster squads to come through the second checkpoint. 30K, the next check before they finish at 43. That's when it's all done and dusted out here today.
Yeah, Cryo RDT 28:42. Sisu I Race Like a Girl were the top squad. I am getting notification that maybe a couple of tags for WRT Sox for Watts maybe didn't come through, or they are racing. So just as a heads up, they are racing. So it does add a little bit of suspense actually to the broadcast, though, because it's like, well, what are their times? We don't know. But Sisu I Race Like a Girl with a 14 flat was the last time that came on through. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out up against the rest of the field. Cryo RDT, we're the ones that are chasing them down, and that is going to be the second place team that we are looking at out on course right now with Brandt Krogager coming out of Denmark, Baltes, and then Beth McGyver. This is one of the standouts in the Zwift Racing League, taking
Very
down
strong.
a couple of scratch races. Very, very strong rider here in the world of Zwift, representing Cryo RDT in the Zwift Racing League, and now in the WTRL TTT here today, number 87 for World Bicycle Relief.
Krogager, MacGyver, this is a team that is definitely on the right trajectory right now. So, Nathan, when I take a look at the start list, and again, emphasizing what Nathan just said, the Sox for Watts, their A team is racing. So that's going to be interesting to see when we have that time or that result. So a lot of things to look forward to here. But you're wondering, I see Andrew McRae is out here with the BRT Atomic Kittens today as well, Nathan. So it's going to be a different day, I have a feeling. It's going to be 43K is a long team time trial. So the teams that have become precise in the application of how you race will benefit greatly here. Because every team's going to come apart a couple of times or have some splits open up, but minimizing that over a long race, 43K, that'll be the difference of 5-10 seconds. That might be the difference to win out here today.
Yeah, it always comes really, really good, especially now that the categories are split up the way that they are. I think that we're going to start seeing these much, much closer races too. I think we've seen a lot of times, and that's one of the things I like to celebrate about WTRL and what they've been doing is that because of how they separate out these categories and organize the results, they let the results do the speaking for who belongs
Right.
where. And I think that's one of the attractions, one of the things the community has been like screaming for from right from the get-go. When we first, I'm getting a little bit of feedback there from live stream, I think. It just started coming through. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. I think early on, though, in the racing, the categories based off of a watt per kilogram functional threshold power was a lot of times, people are like, oh, I'm an A category rider. And then Zwift are like, okay, well, jump into the A category for your functional threshold power. What is your FTP? But now, because of it's based a lot of times now with the way that Martin and WTRL are kind of organizing the results, we're starting to see this pull out a results-based organization of the categories a lot of times. And especially with the Platinum League, how it celebrates the top end of the top level in a lot of ways too. So I think that's one of the attractions that we're starting to see that also keeps everybody really, really competitive with each other with these times so incredibly close week in and week out.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It seems like that is a fantastic point that I haven't heard made before, actually, is that the accountability and trust within this community allows us to do that, have the ability to let the results speak. And that's what Platinum League is all about, right? I mean, this is the best 10 teams that you have from around the globe. Everybody races in the same conditions. And yeah, everybody who's here deserves to be here. I like it that way. Certainly, this is part of this. There's a lot of things that have gone into making the WTRL a success. But if you think about it, I mean, 87 weeks ago, that's just a year and a half ago. And when things started, it was not massive right out of the gate. I think Martin told me something like less than 10 teams showed up for the first event. And here we are now, 836 teams, including cryo RDT Rens here at 25 or almost 26K in. Nice to see basically the whole 7 out of 8 riders still together. That's ahead of the curve.
Martin sent me something over here. This is kind of great. So he was able to make it a little bit Christmassy out here for us. And it's now snowing in Zwift, and it's
I
snowing.
haven't ever seen it snow.
It's snowing donations, and we're now currently at 844 bikes, as you can see at the bottom here. $124,137 raised. So great job to everybody out there who has helped in this. We're absolutely killing it. So thank you so much, everybody. This has been a huge day. As we look at the cryo RDT Rens, let's go ahead and move around a little bit more here as we've been focused in on them for quite a while. I Race Like a Girl there as well. Keep on moving backwards. It looks like Sock for Watts Unicorns pick up H. Talbot here now in her Christmas sweater. As you can see, Hoft is there. LED Taylor as well as Golowska. LS McCann. It looks like MK McCann, and then it's going to be, what was the train? I saw a train in here. The Pain Train. Hammering away for the Unicorns here as well.
Nice. I saw Sisu change their team name. Nathan, did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
No longer are they I Race Like a Girl. They're now I Raise Like a Girl.
Nice,
Sisu
nice. And I believe I'm looking at the levels here too. I don't know if you saw
They're
that.
unbelievable. Those women are the best.
$5,911 American
from one team
in real money from one team right now.
That's awesome. Great job, Sisu ladies, and to everybody who supports them. Is that the top team then? I'd be hard to imagine.
Yeah, that's the top tiers. Yeah, you can. So if you head on over to give.worldbicycleleaf.org, it's the campaign/WTRL. Oh, it's pretty long actually, but you can head on over to WTRL.racing and find that link and see the current. I go off of individuals. I Race Like a Girl E-Racing is 5,911. R3R Playboys are there at 2,127 euros, actually, it looks like. So I think that's going to be pushing up against that as it's in European. So interesting enough to see there. And a little ways down, BHC Berlin hot cranks are at 1,979. I don't know the equation on that, but it's times 2, so pushing
Pretty
into
good.
almost 4,000. So Dirty Rascals 2,171 are the next ones down there. So that's the top 4 currently in the each of the teams.
That's really a good job, everybody. So, Nathan, I'm trying to figure out, it is Aero Unicorns. So I was wondering which edition of the Socks for Watts we had. So this is the Unicorns, which are a mighty force to be reckoned with in their own right. They're part of the franchise now. Socks for Watts is a franchise. They even have a men's team going, as this squad has set the standard out here. Aero Unicorns have been climbing the ladder. They're really now a threat. Nathan, I'd say on any given week, they're right on that threshold of becoming podium contenders. That's a big deal in the Platinum League.
2803 Sisu, I race like a girl. They're right there. They've actually brought some time back here, Dave. Look at the second split versus the first split. That's the race here. And Socks for Watts versus Sisu, I race like a girl. Is it this second lap going to be the telltale for them here? It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Well,
And man, will this be their week?
Well, boy, it is so hard, Nathan, to be in this position because Socks for Watts is nothing but a classy group of women. I love watching what they do. They've set the standard. We've talked about them for the better part of the last year. They deserve every accolade they've received. But, Nathan, they're in that unenviable position of being queen of the hill for a long time. How do you not root for the underdog? I don't know how. I think 95, unless you are on Socks for Watts, the team, I think that you have to look at Sisu. We talked about how much they've raised for World Bicycle Relief. That's independent, obviously. This is competition. That is Amanda Wendorf that we're joining. She is on the team that we're talking about right now. Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, or Raise Like a Girl. We're not going to ask her to talk. She's deep in the pain cave here. But how do you not root for these women right now? I mean, this is just an awesome story. They're 7 seconds back. Now, on this course, that's a long 13K. This absolutely could go either way. Nathan, you know what I'm saying. I'm not rooting against Socks for Watts, but I'm certainly rooting for Sisu.
Yeah, they're, I mean, I'm rooting for both of them to make it as competitive
Me
as
too.
they possibly can.
Hey, we all win.
On
Everybody
the
wins.
day. Because when they
win.
push each other, we see what sport is really all about. At the end of early on in my own racing career philosophy changed a lot in some ways. I always thought about how racing was selfish in a lot of ways. I thought I was being so selfish. I had to kind of come to terms with it was just all about me and being on a podium. And I learned over time that unless I showed up, unless my competitor showed up, there wasn't a race, and I wasn't going to be as fast as I was without them being there. And when a new competitor showed up and was faster than all of us, or somebody else was putting in more work, they made me put in more work, and it became about the sport itself. And I started to understand why the Olympics existed, why the highest level was celebrated the way that it was, because it was about the thing itself. It wasn't about me. It was about all of us showing up and doing for each other what competition does, which is makes us better at the thing we all are celebrating. And so they're all winning by getting faster this way. Yeah, sure, I would love to see the underdog, necessarily, maybe the underdog here that hasn't been able to take down but Socks Watts, they're out there making everybody better by winning week in and week out.
Very well said, Nathan. Why does sport matter? This is why. It brings out the best of us as human beings.
100%.
And that certainly, Nathan. So what you're going to see, there's so many things that you hear commentators say in sport about finding the next level, that last 1%. Well, That's exactly what we're talking about right now. This means a lot to every rider out here. The teams collectively, if you think about it, trying to organize 8 people on a Zoom call is hard. Try doing it with everything that goes into racing on Zwift. I mean, you just have to be way more organized. It takes, as we've said, you don't just show up, turn on a machine, and start racing in the WTRL. You have to go through some processes, and it requires some attention. It shows that you care. It means enough to you. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So these
Looking
folks
at
have gone
this
through a
here.
lot to get here, and the
Check it
real
out here,
reward.
Dave. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No, I would say the real reward is this, Nathan. What we get to watch now.
Yeah, and TFC Vixen here hammering away with the chase behind them. And we can see just off in the distance there, Luis Hubach pushing 4.5, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Now going to the back, it looks like, of this train, though it is going to be Seal. Eustace, McGinty, Siampe. It's going to be Armstrong leading it out at 4.5 watts per kilogram on her Buffalo bike for TFC Vixen. One of the longest standing teams as well out on Zwift. Great to see Vixen doing a great job. I think they were also a break-off team from another team at a certain point. It was in the heyday of some of those in real life events that were going on for quite a long time. And now you are seeing, though, one of their teammates who jumps in. Oh man, this is a Vixen kit chasing down the Vixen team because the composite that is Sox or Watts WRT. As we were just talking about Vixen, Stephanie Simnick shows up. I love it.
Out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, one of the better climbers in American racing right now. So that is a really unique situation. But she's on the All-Star Sox for Watts team. This team has been an absolute juggernaut. They've helped perfect some of the techniques that are used out here. They've taken it to another place entirely. They're also extremely good with the motivation, with social media. They're not a bunch of women that are denied. Nobody puts baby in a corner, as they say. Sisu's trying. I tell you what, we got ourselves a solid of a race so this is not Sisu that they're catching. Just remembering that.
No, it's not Sisu. They're just catching the TFC Vixen team.
Yep.
Vixen team. Yeah, no, that's going to be, excuse me on the name there, TFC Vixen. Velocity Vixen, but TFC Vixen, I think, is the mixed team then, perhaps? That's happening next. It's Friday Criterium and the Vixens mixing it up together there on the day. It does look like they've got Jay Despas in there as well, also riding in a Revo kit. So they've really brought in some talents across the board, which is cool to see with that team as well. 56 seconds up. This is the situation. Lucy Brash on the 6.3 on the front here, about to hit the climb, going into their final time into the Sand and Sequoias. Titans Grove in just a moment here. Kessler on the wheel at 3.6. What? Look at this. That is well done by Kessler. Locked on that wheel, 4.3 watts per kilogram, while the lead rider pushes 6 watts per kilogram. You know that the DS is giving her a lot of kudos right now because that is well ridden at 47 kilometers per hour. And that's going to give her so much effort coming into this climb to pull on through. Brash with a huge pull there too, Dave. And then Kessler pulling through.
Yeah, they're motivated, no doubt. I mean, it's going to be seconds at the finish line one way or another. So they've got the resources here, Nathan. This is not a team that's struggling. You would know as well as anyone as you watch them here, this team is absolutely on the rivet. So this is going to be Meredith Kessler, very strong triathlete, riding for the 5. We noted the other day riding in support of those involved in the tragic events in Las Vegas. 5 people killed. That was so tough. And obviously the community still, that resonates still today. Obviously it will for the rest of time. But this team, so motivated right now. This is the sector here where the pitch goes up a little bit. Wouldn't call it a climb, but it's not a false flat either. This is a challenging sector, and they're handling this incredibly well. So, Nathan, just looking at these images, you'd say, how do you beat this team? Well, they are locking horns right now. As a matter of fact, I mean, if we could have a fake checkout here, I have a feeling these teams are virtually tied. Socked for Watts and Sisu, I raised like a girl.
It's neck and neck, that's for sure. Shihan making her way to the front. Despas is in here riding. I didn't recognize she was riding 4 Socks for Watts. My mistake. So it's good to see Despas jumping in with Socks for Watts. Shihan as well coming over from the Revo team. Hubak's been on the front a lot here. She was just on the front a moment ago. So Louise here coming over from the High Note team, one of the strongest teams, obviously, in the world of Zwift, winning the Zwift Racing League, walking away with it in the Premier Division. So I think she's got a couple of extra tanks of nitrous oxide there hanging on in the legs at this point. So, Rachel Elliott moving her way to the front.
Nathan, what is interesting is the best team in the world. How do they do it? Well, their rider that's strong just stays on the front more, like Louisa Hubak is doing. She's being a fantastic teammate. She's not going so fast that she's blowing her teammates out the back. She's just taking really long pulls, allowing them to, recover with air quotes around it. There's not much recovery going on, but just getting yourself good enough to actually come through and take another pull. I don't know if that would be recovery, but this is where, 31.6K in, starting to unravel a little bit. But Nathan, this is an interesting point here.
Just let anyone go. Just let them go and climb like a maniac at this point. Really, you got to come over the top with 4 or 5. Really go into the climb as fast as you possibly can, in my opinion. You do not wait for anyone at this point, unless you're coming down to 4. I mean, then it's another story.
Absolutely agree with that. And especially when you're at 6 or 7, you'd let one go without even a thought. Now, so at this point, we're going to, this team looks really, really good.
I don't think Wendorf was actually in any trouble there. Oh, maybe she was. She's letting it go perhaps, and a little bit of kick here. Interesting enough to see. Needs to get back on terms right now, though, in order to make sense of this, because really they could lose the race here at this point if they wait up for Amanda.
Well, as you watch here, that's a tough moment because, logic tells you don't wait for one rider right now. You don't like to give. They can't afford to. That's the thing, Nathan. 1 second could be the difference. So, she's going to get back on. What a ride here from Amanda Wendorf to rejoin.
Dave, I'm wondering if they're going to, right here, so I'm noticing the points at which they were backing off were only on the downhills. They might be riding this very smart in a way that reserves energy. They might be next level tactics here where they're mobbing the downhills, allowing the speed to gain, and then going to use all of that extra energy through this climb. I wonder if they're going to pull a solid 5 to 6 up this climb, because that would really give them a big advantage if they do pull that off here. We'll have to wait and see what kind of... Look, Catherine Curry, this is the rider that's going to lead them over the climb, I would assume.
Well, and does Curry go up and take a 1 kilometer long pull, a 2-minute pull right now? She could. That
Full
might be the
here,
difference.
5-6 watts per kilogram, 152 beats per minute. Looks like she's got plenty to work with still.
Huge talent. One of the biggest engines on Zwift, Catherine Curry. Pound for pound, ounce for ounce, nobody hits harder than Catherine Curry. So this is big. I mean, this is how, if you're going to beat Socks for Watts, this is how you do it. They're putting on a clinic here. When you come for the queen, you better not miss. This is going to be one of the chances, the first time in the WTRL history, Nathan, that we've gone this deep into the race, and Sisu can really say they are toe-to-toe, just going body blow after body blow out here with Socks for Watts. So win, lose, or draw, these women are going to be very, very proud of their ride today. They're channeling some kind of next-level karma, I think, with all the money that they raised for World Bicycle Relief. They are right now putting on a show. Unbelievable job here. I cannot wait to see who wins this race.
If they win the race and they've got the top, I mean, really, they're trying to match what they've done in donorship here at this point, really, right? Like winning the race, winning the donations as well. I mean, it'd be really cool to see if they are able to pull this off. And as we said, Katherine Curry, the strongest climber most likely on the team, continues to pull them on at almost 6 watts per kilogram. Is she going to pull all the way through the entire climb is going to be our question. They're catching Vikings Valkyrie here just ahead of them now.
So Nathan, even I'd go further than one of the strongest riders on the team. I'd say one of the strongest riders on Zwift when it comes to climbing. Look at this pull. How long has she been on the front now? 600 meters? 700 meters? Something like that? I mean, this is a long, long pull. And she's not done. She could pull for another K. They're now going through traffic. It's bedlam. Absolute bedlam out there right now. I tell you what, whoever said that, I don't know, team time trialing, is it worth putting a broadcast together for? Is it exciting? Well, let me reference this moment right now. It is a Donnybrook going on sand and sequoias. 2 laps of racing for 43K today. Oh, my goodness, Nathan. I don't know. If Socks for Watts withstands this one, there's a reason why we call them the best in the world. They really have a chance to prove it here today.
We're looking at Poland here on the left-hand side. She's got a Twitch stream currently up, hammering away, trying to chase down her teammate. They are going through BRT. They just went through Vikings Valkyrie as well. You can see the suffering on her face. She's just focused, locked on her teammate's wheel, making sure not to get dropped because it is going to matter on the downhill. Leaving Titans Grove for this team is going to be so incredibly important, though, that they don't lose too many riders. So I did say drop 1 or 2 off, but if they lose every rider, though, on the downhills, though, that mobbing effect that you saw them doing, it's going to be a difficult time here. We'll see if they, but it looks like Poland's going to hang on. She's actually moving her way forward as Curry continues to push the pace and starts to distance them.
When you talk about your rider of the day, that could be what we're looking at right now. This is such a fantastic opportunity to show how cycling is a team sport. So many people look at this as an individual effort. Well, that's where the team time trial changed everything. Obviously, there's a team element to winning a road race or a scratch race, but this type of racing, the team time trial, really shows you how the strongest riders need to figure out how to work with the other riders and get the most out of everybody. That's what you call digging in right now.
Annie Poland here, hammer away. Level 33 Zwifter racing for Sisu. I race like a girl at the top level. Serious athlete, as you can see. She's currently live actually on Caleb Carl Cycling's channel. So interesting enough, maybe partner. I'm not positive there. I don't want to make too many assumptions, but very cool to see her live streaming the event. Head on over to that channel. You can find all these channels that we are showing over on Twitch. We like to definitely highlight all those that are in the community live streaming and out there building community. Great to see. And there she is now in game as well. Currently 162 beats per minute.
Well, they're motoring 60K per hour right now on this relatively steep downhill pitch. I don't know if I call it steep, but you really want to build up some momentum. Nathan does a great job of highlighting the gameplay element that you have on this platform, and carrying momentum is a big part of it. It's not about who makes the most watts. It's about making the right watts at the right time and being very, very savvy and selective about staying in the wheels, not putting your nose in the wind unless there's a reason to. And this is the mob style. I think 6 riders, Nathan, is the minimum.
Oh, it's so close.
Whoa,
yeah,
it's so
close.
right there.
So close.
Right there.
5 seconds. It's still possible. It's still 100% possible at this point.
It's a pick'em, to tell you the truth. It's a pick'em. I mean, 5-second advantage for Socks for Watson. Again, just to reference the run that they're on, it is incredible that this team has basically, out of the last 30 weeks that we've raced, they have won just about every time. There's only a couple of dates that they didn't show up, and there's even various reasons for that. So for Sisu to be 5 seconds back at this final split, that split coming in at 30K, so that's 13 kilometers before the finish line. This could go either way, but let's remember that Catherine Curie took a pull that might have been the game changer.
And it really is this section of course right here that we're looking at that is going to be the game changer. It is going to be the decision maker as they head through the rest of these little undulations, as they leave Titan's Grove, how they attack each one of these bumps and the kind of speed they pull over the top, whether or not they stay organized over the top and mob on the downhill, snowball affect it, that's going to be everything. They may have to drop riders if they can't hang on with the sharp punches, but it's sharp punches over the top in order to make this happen.
So I'm inventing a new term, Nathan. That's downhill style, avalanche style is what you want to do, right? Just keep rolling over the fastest snow, the fastest moving object. When it's you, take your turn, and they'll come over the top of you and be ready to go again. That is absolutely the technique. That you've nailed, without any doubt. And I think we're going to get a good look at it right here, folks.
I want to take another look here. Poland, just to give you guys an idea, Annie Poland, just real quickly, because look at the bottom of her screen here. That she has her, I love it that this is what I do as well during my my TTTs or big efforts. I make sure I leave the graph at the bottom, and whenever she's into that orange or red, that is over threshold. Yellow is threshold. Most of what you are seeing right now is over or into your VO2 type effort, your zone 5 type efforts. This is monster effort here. The last half of the race, this could be the winning effort we're looking at right now.
See that little blue sector that's coming through right now as you watch it populate from the right? That must have been, she takes this huge pull, then goes, that's her recovering on the downhill there. And that's the only time that it went blue for a while here. In the last 5 minutes, that's the only time that she was even close to being able to recharge. What an effort from Annie Poland out here. If everybody is working as hard as Annie, this is going to be 1 second either way. Hold on to your hats out there, folks. We got ourselves a Donnybrook going on now. This is going to be Sisu that we're looking at. Poland, the rider that we've been looking at her Twitch. There, Nathan, at about 4K to go.
4K to go, 4K to go to the line here at this point. And I just want to highlight again real quickly what we've been doing all this for today. $124,137 raised out in the snow here. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick refresh on this and see if we can get maybe a new look at it. I think it's reloading, everybody. So as soon as we do get a reload on that, I'll let you know where things stand because there may be a new number that's come in. Because I noticed it hadn't updated in just a little while. So see if we do get an update on it and do get a new number on the target from 57. But wow, excuse me, it obviously hit well over the 50,000, but sitting at that 124, amazing job. Now to the line here though with Poland, and it's gonna be Kessler to the front again. I've noticed that Kessler on the flats kind of takes over a little bit. I think they really have noticed who's the strongest in certain areas. That's what's making this such a sharp team as well, I think, is that they've really honed in on which teams, which riders, where they're strong. Yep. Exactly.
And Kessler is a world-class triathlete. So absolutely, this is where she makes hay. It's out in the field. She goes out and gets it, and then she'll turn it back over to Catherine Curie when it goes back uphill. They're really talking about cracking the code. Well, obviously, Socks for Watts, they wrote the book, to tell you the truth. But this is the first team that's even come close, and this one is more than close.
They might have done it.
I don't know who the next
leaving here. I'm seeing a pretty big gap. It may still be because of the downhills and the uphills, but I saw over a minute gap at the last time I looked here. Interesting to see. They may have pulled this off here. It's got to go all the way to the line, though. Everything they've got, and we've actually got a gap opening up. This is not the disorganization we need to see. the focus here needs to come in.
I'm
And we've got
surprised.
Catherine Curry.
I'm
It's because Curry is on and going, come on. Now, they cannot slow down by grabbing her wheel. They got to fly right on by. They have to make sure they don't slow down
They
because of
reset.
Catherine. They got to keep moving. Let Catherine go to the back. Oh, no, the slowdown is not what you need to see.
That is tragic. I am really surprised. So that was an example of Catherine Curie unable to judge her own effort there. And unfortunately, she blew the team up. Now, they've recovered quickly. That's a good sign here. That will cost them at least a second, maybe two, having to recover, reset, and get going again. They're still in that process right now of getting this locked back down. And here we go. That was not a good moment. That was not their best K out of the 43. That one is one they wish they could toss out right now as they're down to a little more than 1K to go. It's still going to be a razor's edge out here. This one, Nathan, as good as they get. You know, as we watch that, you never know. Even a team like Sox for Watts is going to go through a moment. Every team is going to have it. They can't afford to do that again, however.
No, they definitely cannot afford to do that again at all. So I'm actually seeing, is this going to be... That's Doneth making her way to the line. This is from the other Sisu Do getting across the line here, most likely cheering her the other teammates on at this point. Here we go. This is the final K or so. They're going to hit the sprint points to get everybody up and out of the saddle. I want to bring in the two. This might be the winning effort here, too. So I just definitely want to bring in this side by side to see what this looks like to come to the line, actually. And as Kessler, now we do have, it looks like Brash to the front. That's going to be leading things out. A little bit of orange numbers there coming in from Curry. And you can see Poland up and out of the saddle. They're hammering away. 167, everything to the line. We're about to see the situation where it's just the Avatar full stop. 7 watts per kilogram right now coming from Brash.
Yeah, you don't make a bigger effort than this right now. All business like a boss as Annie Poland here is trying to bring it home. Let's see. They stop the clock right now. Okay. Now we let the WTRL supercomputer go to work. Bucket time. Oh, Annie, that was something.
Done.
What a ride.
Yeah, huge ride.
So they don't know. They don't know, Nathan, if it was enough or not. I am on pins and needles waiting to find out. This is your Vienna, the women at the very highest level. This came down to seconds. It could be, yeah, we'll see. I can't wait.
See if we can bring in Despa's here. I think she's going to help us out to get to the Sox for Watts team in just a second here. Here they are coming to the line. I think they've done it. It seems like it's been over a minute, actually. At this point, maybe it's gonna be right up against it here.
It's close. It's very, very. Boy, I honestly, Nathan, it's going to be a couple seconds, one way or another. Normally, you know me. I'm so happy to guess. I don't know this time. This is wow. Well, 87 weeks, folks. Today we were racing for World Bicycle Relief. There's a 1-for-1 match going on as they finish their Sox for Watts, the dominant team. They've been the golden standard in the WTRL. They haven't been challenged like they were today, in my memory, to tell you the truth. Even when they started winning, they went big and never looked back. Today, a different story. We found a new level out here. World Bicycle Relief brings the best out of all of us. Thanks to everybody who donated, who helped to put a bike into the system, the pipeline of care going to sub-Saharan Africa. Y'all made a big difference. So that 1-for-1 match goes on, I believe, through the end of the year. Go to worldbicyclerelief.org to find out more. So even if we wrap things up here today, remember that that match is huge. So when you add it all up, over 120,000 when you include it. And I think the number's growing as we speak. So thanks, everybody, for your support here on World Tactical Racing League's number 87 for World Bicycle Relief.
Yeah, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here. We'll see if this works out, having it at the bottom with us. It does. Look at that, Dave. We're out in the snow.
Nice. It
Hanging out
actually
in the
is
snow,
snowing.
hanging out in the snow.
It is snowing here in Colorado right now. So
What an
I
amazing
feel
effort out there today.
like I'm
We're gonna have to wait and
outside.
see. We have to wait and see how things end up playing out for the records. Again, I want to say usually we do try and cover all the categories. A lot, or not all the categories, but extra categories and jump around. But a lot has changed on the day today. If anybody hasn't noticed, getting across to all of the getting across to all of the categories was just a little bit more difficult with multiple events on the day today, but we will be bringing in the results for the men's race here in just a moment. We'll bring in the results. Hopefully by that time, we'll have a lot of the women getting across the line for some of the Viennas. I'm going to see if I can jump across to some of them, but as I do try to jump across to some of the other categories for the women's frappe, latte, mocha, etc., let's go ahead and take a look at how things ended up playing out in the men's field, though. For the results, we do have the Dopios ready to go, I believe. I'm just going to reload these real quickly, and then we'll take a look at that. And we'll also leave the fundraising up there. We're up to 846 bikes, $124,385 raised for World Bicycle Relief. That's a whole lot of lives changed. That's got to be... Think about the community. Just real quickly, I want to highlight, though, like, how many bikes go to a single community, right? And then out of that, you could multiply that or divide that then by that many bikes and go, this is how many communities have been impacted for 5-10 years to come. So pretty outstanding, that's for sure. But let's go ahead and take a look here at the way things played out here for the men's. And it is going to be... It was Doppio, Slovenia. They made it happen there with the CPO over 100% even.
Yeah, look at that. 56 flat, only 1 second. Back to Volendam, WTRL Volendam. 0.86. That's incredible. Over 43K. It was that close. No pins. R3RE Racing Team only 18 seconds back for third. They'll take the bronze medal. Z-Sun R, the Red Giants, at 23 seconds back. Such a good ride to take the chocolate medal in fourth. Pedal Power, 103 back in fifth. VCRT, everybody loves the doggos. They're 110 back. Solid ride. They're in sixth. Ram Raiders in seventh. That's a look at your top 7 in the Doppio.
Looking at the Espressos. Vision D-Pack taking down with 56.43 out of the permitted. 2 guys Ferradura there holding on. 57.09 from the Zone 6, it looks like. Then it's Evo Warriors from Zone 2, 57.30. Evo Espresso there, 57.33. You know, I think Evo Warriors, they ride that early Zone 2. And Caroline Elizabeth, I think, rides with them, actually. Coming from the Premier Division over from Hino. Yeah. Crazy time it'll be set with
She's so strong.
So strong. She actually raced with me in the PRL 100, actually, this past week, and it came to the line with me. So, I mean, crazy strong rider there out there. Viva Espresso, though, with that 4th place there, it looks like, for the 57.33. 5th place to Pita Z with their first time in the Platinum League. Solid ride. Great job to Pita Z. 57.41. Dirt Diggler there, coming from Zone 2, 57.53. Lost Torpedoes in 7th to 57.57. Innovation Euro Aliens coming out of Zone 4 with 58 minutes. 8th place. Cryogen Goals, and then Team TFC Typhoon across the line for Kent. Before the day is done, though, there's plenty more zones to come. These will get updated as they do over at WTRL.racing. And it's Fleetwood Mac, your favorite team, Dave.
The boys are back. Congratulations, guys. R3R Fleetwood Mac, the gold standard again, a 58.35, the winning time. Congratulations. Eva Vortex won for silver, and it's going to be the SLOZL Big Strong guys taking the bronze medal. They cracked the code. Look how many teams making it under an hour here, 5 of them. So Team CLS B52s, they do it. They're in 4th. INC Alien Express, they're going to end up in 5th. Team Radsport Hochhauser in 6th. Cryogen the Kestrels in 7th. Ace in 8th. Valhalla Legbiter in 9th. And then Z Scott Volvanners in 10th. That's a good look at the top 10 in the Platinum League for the Frappe.
And in the lattes, it's going to be Kirchmer East Cycling doing their usual thing. An amazing job to them getting first place from the Platinum League. 102.20. Close race. 3 seconds back with the Vikings Valhalla. Team TFC Raptors there. 103.50. Then it's going to be two guys Nada followed up by ZRGR. TTT3. Then it's going to be Vikings Molnar in 6. Two guys Hara. Team Type 1 Lancets in 8th, and then RR Woolly Rhinos, Cryogen Emos coming through for 10th. That's the lattes currently as it stands, almost all Platinum League. Shout outs though to Zone 6, a couple of them sneaking through there, and the Mochas.
I want to race for two guys Quesadilla, Nathan. All right, RR Black Rhinos. Taking it here to 111.38 in the Mocha category. TFC Hawk taking the silver medal. Bronze going to TFC Hurricane. This is again our Mochas. TBR 007 in 4th. Atom Racing Team Fusion in 5th. Team CLS Racing D in 6th. Team Type 1, the A1Cs in 7th. TBR Z6M1 in 8th place, and Grave in 9th, and Vikings Berserker in 10th. So there's your Mochas here in the Platinum League. A little more racing still to go here today. Everybody, I'm sure, waiting with very anxious to hear how it went for the women. That was an exciting race.
See if we can bring that in, because that was insane.
Yeah, don't want to rush you though, because I know that they want to make sure that we have it right. I did want to note.
It's all right.
Did want to note that 1 minute per bicycle will be subtracted in almost a separate event, right, Nathan? Where they're going to reshuffle after all the times are in, and the teams will factor in how much they raised for World Bicycle Relief, and we'll have a new set, a new top 10. But that waits till later today.
Yeah, that's also going to be. I think they're going to separate out the times a little bit. So like there'll be one that's the competitive, and then there'll be one that's like this is with the fundraising.
Factor in how much you raised thing. Right. Just stay tuned. You'll hear more about that.
Up. I think we're at 849 now. 849 bikes. We'll see if we can get that update going here, but. Keeps on. Just
keep refreshing. Just hammer that refresh button until it's a million bikes.
Keep refreshing until it's a million bikes. There we go. I think we've got an update there. So I was told this is going to start doing fireworks too. Where's my fireworks? I want my fireworks, Martin. I don't know. Why don't I not getting my fireworks?
Did you hear that Martin was saying that? Martin says there's a disc wheel trophy that's going to be engraved for the winning team. Isn't that cool?
That's going to be awesome. I'm super excited about that. That we have a situation where there's a trophy now that's going to be going around specifically for this event. And I think they're looking to try to make this like a yearly thing.
It has to be a zip disc too, I'm sure, with all their support of World Bicycle Relief.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'd want to ride it, unfortunately. It's like playing with the autographed Babe Ruth baseball or something. I would just say like, it's engraved, but I'm going to take it out. Take it out for a ride. So, wow, what a day, everybody. You raised a lot for World Bicycle Relief. We've had some of the best racing we've seen in the history of the WTRL. So good that right now a server in China has crashed as it's trying to calculate who our winning team is for the women. It was so close. We don't even want to speculate a guess, to tell you the truth. That would be pointless because the ladies had to prove it with their legs. It's still snowing out in Watopia. Oh my gosh. Nathan, there it is.
They did it. They did it. Number one team in raising. Almost $6,000 out of that. 849 bikes, 124,000 was raised by them, and they raised a 59.35 on the day as well. That's absolutely flying.
Even with the bonuses for all the fundraising they did, which was the top team, they didn't even need it. They got the World Bicycle Relief Karma Bump of a lifetime. You know what? I don't even want to joke about that. They earned it. They rode their legs off out there today. Sisu, I raced like a girl. I raise like a girl today. Ladies, a heartfelt congratulations. Socks for Watts, WRT. They'll be back. These ladies are fighters. I think it just got better for sports fans out there. If they're going to finish that 12 seconds back, this was as good as they get. Cryo RDT Reds in third today. TFC Vixen taking fourth in the Vienna Espresso category. BRT Atomic Kittens in fifth. Vikings Valkyrie in sixth. And it's going to be Socks for Watts. Arrow Unicorns in seventh. Nathan, does it get any better than that?
It's no, it's absolutely awesome. Great job by them. Great job by them. We do have a poster competition as well. That we are getting some comments about it. We see that. We see the poster competition comments. We'll be taking a look at those in just a moment here. As there's still times coming in, as you can see. Aeonian Banditas. This was the top team out of the ZRL as well. So they're showing up now for the WTRL TTT. Good to see Aeonian at the top. We're on 436. Taking it down for first place, BLZR there, 105.03. 105.27 followed up by Sunrise. That's going to be Z-Sun Hypernova. Sunrise Racing Team with a 106.50. 213 back. Las Rebeldes, they're in fifth place. Socks for Watts, Old Socks in sixth. And then Adam Racing Team Electrons in seventh. Cryogen Blue Jays in eighth. Kirchner E-Cycling Ladies. Glasgow Tri Alondra rounding out the top 10. And let's head on over to the Vienna Lattes.
All right, and it's Waddy Egg Flash taking it with a 108.15. It's Evo Tri W for silver and Sisu Bastet in third for a bronze medal today. Z-Sun R Pluto in fourth, Riva Duvels in fifth, CMA, that's hashtag squad goals, in sixth, AHDR Nightcap for seventh, Velocity eighth, WTRL Drafting Dingoes UK1 edition in ninth, and Ferocious. That's your top 10 for the Vienna Lattes.
Great job there. Great job to everybody there. And maybe it just updated. Maybe we got to back off this. I have a feeling these are just going to keep on updating. So as the times come in, these are as they stand. I'll get a shout out there to Slovenian Pink. None of these are from the Platinum League, so I'm gonna leave these alone for now. Except for I'm gonna say that No Drama Llamas, they killed it. Great job to No Drama Llamas.
Very popular team.
1-7. Okay. Zone. Maybe it's because it's Zone 5. Maybe it changed up and it's not PL. Perhaps. Maybe because of the change ups today. So, but I just wanted to shout out No Drama Llamas just because I get to do that. I get to do that. So. Let's go ahead and jump on back in with me and Dave here. We'll leave those alone for now, everybody, just so that we don't make any more mistakes on anything. That could
There's a
be
lot.
some.
There's a lot to it. Things are updating constantly, and that's where you just have to go with the flow sometimes.
Just go with the flow. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
right. Isn't that what you told me? Just go with the flow.
Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. It's all gonna work out. Well, that's what I told you. That's what I told Dave to do. I'm gonna just keep me and Martin hammer away over here. You go with the flow, Dave. Just let it all. Oh gosh, it's great. I was gonna go with the Wolvers on my on the competition here, but
the poster
on the posters. But this one popped up, and I just couldn't leave this one alone because there was a lot of work, it looked like, that went into this one, actually. So, the Wolvers, I got to give a shout out to Wolvers. It caught my eye, and I wanted to say great job on the Wolvers Zwift Scotland production starring. I really like how they did that there. The Horror of Mankind released on sand and sequoias. And also a shout out. I mean, all the Christmas themes here too. The Dirty Chronicle. You guys did a great job with the Christmas themes. It would loving the Dirt Digglers as well with the elves riding the bikes. I mean, it's just you guys just put so much work into these. I'm absolutely loving it. I know that Martin, he picked his own poster for his.
You can't do that.
He picked his own poster. Also the writing
Yeah.
one from World Bicycle Release San Sequoias with TFC Hawks. Great job there. But this is gonna be my pick for the day because I'm just loving what they did here. The Ionian race team there, with all of the reindeer and the hearts and the little emoji people there. I'm really I like loving these here. So great job on these little avatars that they put the reindeers on. Does one of them have a red nose though? It doesn't look like it. What's going on with that here? The Ionian race team, solid job there. That's my pick. You win the poster competition for Nathan here this week. Ionian Divas, solid job. So, pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I'm actually going with the Aeonian Divas as well, partly because I forgot to look at the posters today.
I love your honesty, Dave. That's some great.
Well,
That's really loving it.
and then when I went to look at the posters, unfortunately, my technology, I have to use a different computer to look at the posters, and then the volume came on and gave feedback, and so that was a disaster. So I feel bad. Feel bad because I love I love the posters. Remember how stoked I was about the Clash poster for TFC
Well,
last
none
week?
of us question that, Dave. None of us question whether not at all. Not at all. Well, it's getting cold in here. I'm gonna go get warmed up for my race. I'm gonna get warmed up for my race later tonight. If you haven't done a WTRL TTT, you can do one every Wednesday at 1 p.m. CST, 7 p.m. GMT. That's going to be UK time. The registration closes. Get your team together. I think Martin's torturing us some weird way next week. Like I've never, I don't know what is going on in his mind there. Martin, I got to hear from you here. What are you thinking? That's what I want to know. What's happening next week, Martin?
Well, we suffer with a lot of people saying we want a hilly, we want climbing, because generally the TTT are generally very flat. There's a few bumps and lumps here and there. So Christmas Eve, everyone's going up the hill in Bologna twice. So good luck with that.
Wow.
Have Merry Christmas, everybody. And then to say goodbye to 2020, you've got the Alp. Get yourselves up there on New Year's Eve.
Loving it. Well, you know, it's just keeping us all honest when it comes to the celebrations, I think, really, when it comes down to it. So we'll get our resolutions on early is what I think is what's happening there. So appreciate it, Martin. And man, what a great job. Everybody in chat, I just, a round of applause to him, and everything that he's done this year, the launching of the Zwift Racing League, this amazing accomplishment with the WBR and raising now at $124,844. And also raising all of us up in a lot of ways and trimming us all down probably in a lot of ways too, with the motivations that are brought through 2020. What Martin and WTRL do for all of us. I just want to give a big thank you there because it's a lot of time. I think, just the amount of effort that goes in, and we all recognize it there. So Martin, thank you very much and Merry Christmas. I think everybody would say that to you. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Nathan, I just wanted to add, first off, to everybody that donated, helped raise money for WBR, a huge thank you. It made a massive difference. And we'll check in next week and let you know the final total. But it's over with the one-to-one matching going on. It's over $120,000 now. That's even $124,000. That is incredible. WTRL community, you are phenomenal. The other point today, I think, is that believe in yourself, like Sisu. Never give up. What might seem like an insurmountable challenge, like getting beat by a minute and a half every week by Socks for Watts. Well, what did they do? They didn't hang their heads. They just worked at it, found riders to fit into their program, just continued to slug away until they got the biggest win in that team's history. That's huge. And there's a lesson there. Never give up, people. 2020 sucked. There's no doubt about it. But when Martin and Steven and WTRL do things like raise north of $100,000 worth of love for WBR, that's obviously a good sign. What's happening out there, there's some bright lights. So just look for them. Everybody, keep your head up. Keep racing. It's going to be all good.
100%. Happy holidays to everybody. We'll see you next week. Well, We'll see if we'll see you next week. We still have to plan next week, just as a heads up as to what we're doing for the holidays as far as everybody goes. But it's been absolutely awesome. Congratulations to the whole community on what you've raised today and accomplished today. Awesome job. I'm going to go get warmed up. Well, I'm not racing till later today, but the snow. So having fun, everybody. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As always, great job to all the racers. If you haven't done so already, hit those follow buttons if you want to know whenever we're going live here at Zwift Community Live. And congratulations, everybody. It's been awesome. As always, ride on.